Okay, another episode for you folks this week. Holiday week, the 4th of July. Mustache Tom still in full effect here for the remainder of this week. We have Jack Aigner with us here now for this intro. He will not be joining us for the interview of Carson Yurgaites, who had a career day. Got his first career homer, so him and I chatted about that. The Eagles bouncing back, Dallas Allen's day, and just the state of the Eagles overall. So that was a fun interview. Then Jack popped on immediately after, told us about where he was. He's being a humble homeowner, tending to business in the home. And then him and I talked about the series, talked a little bit about my mustache, and I don't even remember what else, Jack. We got sidetracked a few times, but
there was some meat missile talk. We talked potential MLW commentators.
Yes, that was it.
4th of July festivities, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff that you'd want in a pod here as we step into July and approach, the end of Slate 3 and the All-Star break here in about a month. So thank you all for tuning in. This is the Pipe It Up podcast, and cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. No Aigner to kick this one off. The humble homeowner himself is tied up right now with a project. I think he has some folks over helping him with a bathroom repair, possibly a bathroom redesign, reworking, whatever you want to call it, a renovation per se. So with that, Jack is tied up. The project is taking longer than he thought, so he's hoping to join us here midway. But to get things started, I do have on Zoom from the Meadows, Carson Yurgaites joining us. A little breakout performance from him last week against the Cats. Carson, thank you for joining us. Not a first-time caller, but I think first time is really a series standout per se, or at least a surprising performance in my eyes.
Yeah, no problem, Tom. Love being on the pod. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. What series are you taking in right now for the frame of reference for the fans?
Just got done watching game 1 of Cobra's Gators.
I'm
not sure when the video will be out, but the Sawyer-Drew rivalry is going on.
Oh, I'm sure that's cinema. I wish I was there taking it in myself. But Gators-Cobras, yes, one of the more exciting matchups of Slate 3. Me and Jack talked about, Carson, how all the Slate 3 matchups were exciting just because of the history of the Eagles-Cats, Mallards-Preds being, a Philly series rematch, and that was a good, fun environment. It's in Staten Island this time. And then you have the Sawyer versus Drew matchup with Gators Cobes, and then Magic D-backs to round things off. So a fun slate. I'm excited to see Sully take on RJ in the Magic D-backs series. So nonetheless, let's talk about your series against the Wildcats last Friday. Eagles took all 3 games in case you missed it. It was a shock to me. Carson, I don't know if you're a pod listener, but I've been very high on the Wildcats. I've been ranking them number 1 in the manager's poll. That's what I've been voting for my top spot. And Jack and I both predicted.
That's why they're so inflated.
What's that?
That's why they're so high up there, Tom.
What, because of me?
You guys are inflated by the Wildcats. Yeah.
So you think that Jack and I are persuading the opinions of the other managers potentially?
I don't know about persuading, but that's already 25% of the managers.
That's true. Well, I don't know if Jack is necessarily voting exactly how I am. I know I've been vocal about being high on the Cats, but I can't say for certain.
Yeah.
I can't say for certain what Jack has been voting for. So, anyways, you guys took care of business without much trouble. It felt like the Wildcats of last year where PB just, he looks great to me. And, of course, PB's editing this, so shout out to PB. But, his stuff is moving. It looks good. But the ball is just getting put in play a lot. And you guys burned him with the home run ball a couple times. You and your brother both went yard in the series, to name a few. But just what were you surprised? Were you high on the Wildcats going into it? Did you view this as a top team in MLW before the series, or what were your thoughts on this squad?
We went and prepared to win. We
Prepared to
weren't
win.
surprised at the outcome at all.
Good answer.
We came in, envisioned it, and expected to win all three. Not that the Wildcats are a bad team. I mean, they're 100% a playoff team in my eyes, but we go in with confidence, regardless of us being having the worst record of the league going into it.
Okay, that's fair. I know that had to be a bit concerning. I'm sure it didn't feel great for you being, one of the newer guys. Like coming into this one, were you feeling a little bit of the pressure because the results hadn't been great for the Eagles so far, and you lost guys like Walker and Whalen, and yourself and Evan Trackman were, given the task of filling those shoes, which were big shoes to fill. So, were you feeling like this was a must-win?
We knew it was a must-win. You can't lose your first three series in this competitive of a league. But I wasn't feeling any sort of pressure. I just go in there and try and have as much fun as possible, and I just hope the results show up good.
Well, I mean, they did. You got your first career bomb. You just looked, to me, we'll talk about the home run in a second, but to me, you just looked more comfortable. I felt like your swing looked a little bit better, per se. I can't really talk much anymore because my swing has gotten uglier and uglier over the last couple seasons, but before I thought I had a pretty, conventional baseball swing, whereas you and Landon have more of that just quick to the ball, like disregarding a lot of lower half movement or anything like that. It's just a very wiffle ball-esque swing, but it's working for Landon tremendously. In this series, you looked way more comfortable, but I actually thought, and it was most noticeable on your home run, but I thought you looked like you had maybe simplified your swing a little bit. It looked like you were truly just all hands to the ball. There wasn't a whole lot of movement. It didn't look quite as awkward to me. It actually looked like like I said, a lot like your brothers. So did you make a conscious effort to change your swing or approach it all before this series, or was it just a coincidence that I saw something different?
Not a coincidence. I did notice at the start of the year I'd start lower and kind of go up on my swing, and that would make me miss the ball. So I started really more upright, and this was in Bay City and other leagues. I started more upright and then just see ball, hit ball, and it seems to be working a lot better in every other league besides MLW.
I was going to ask you that.
Finally clicked for MLW.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had seen better offensive results in the other leagues you play in. And really, I wasn't sure about your offensive performance in those other leagues in years past, because I know you've been playing wiffle ball elsewhere with Landon, Trey, Preston, other guys from the Bay City area in that league up there. So in MLW, we hadn't seen a lot of you at the plate, and the small sample size we saw wasn't too successful. So I was curious if hitting was your forte, was not your forte. I really didn't know your past, statistics.
Yeah, hitting is 100% my forte. It's it's just what I excel at. I'm not much of a pitcher. And I've always been a good hitter in Bay City, and just hasn't been clicking in MLW. And I'm just happy it's finally starting to a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for you. I didn't see it coming. I'm just calling a spade a spade. It's your team. The Eagles is just so deep offensively, and it's just I'm waiting for one of the years for that to change. But every year it seems like someone else is stepping up, and you definitely surprised me in this series. But let's talk about the home run. First career in MLW. Wasn't your first career hit. I think you notched that earlier. Was it this series or your first series this year?
My first career hit?
Yes.
That's like my rookie year.
Oh, it was? Okay, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies.
And
Carson.
even last year, I hit 180 last year.
Okay, yeah, better than me. So I got to put some respect on Carson Yurgaites' name, I think. But first career bomb, that's a whole other ballgame compared to first career hit. How'd that feel? I mean, it was a no-doubter. This was no cheapie.
Yeah.
How'd that feel? Were you said hitting's your forte, but were you consciously capable that you were aware or able to hit home runs in this league? Were you consciously trying to? Walk me through that at bat and then the result.
Well, I was sitting draw ball, and I saw him go overhand. I knew a slider was coming, and it's honestly, I don't try to hit home runs at all. I'm more of a contact guy. Just try and put the ball in play, and I feel good things will happen. But I got under it and barreled it, and it felt great.
It was a shot, no doubter. Now let's talk. You mentioned how you were sitting drop ball. You hit a slider. I do want to talk about the Wildcats pitching and Ballman specifically because, again, and PB's listening to this, he edits this. I don't mean this like in bad taste. I'm just genuinely curious. Because Pat, number 1 overall pick, I commentated one of Pat's first series in MLW when he faced off against the D-backs, I want to say, last year. And him and Norp were battling out there. Total pitcher's duel. It was exciting. And Pat's stuff looked nasty. He's so tall like RJ. He had a good drop ball that day. Slider was working, mixing in a riser, two-seam. Like, he had the arsenal. But for whatever reason, Pat, in his first season and a half here, has fallen victim to a lot of home run balls. So I haven't had the chance to face him. I haven't had the opportunity to hit against him. But what did you see up there? And, like, again, this is not bashing PB. We love PB, and I think he has a lot of talent, but just the ball hasn't bounced his way. But do you think there's a reason why maybe guys are hitting the ball hard against him, even though his stuff is very good? Is it a coincidence? Like, what is your thoughts after facing him for a series?
I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, and his stuff is really good. Sometimes there's just too much stuff over like the middle of the plate, but I feel like even that's gotten a lot better. I honestly don't know.
He talked about that on the podcast about how he thought he was throwing maybe too many strikes. So PB may be something to think about. But what were you seeing a lot of strikes from him?
Yeah, and being the 4-hole hitter, you're going to see strikes from everyone, and I'm going in there looking to swing. As a 4-hole hitter, like if you're a pitcher, you're just looking to strike them out because they're the worst hitter in the lineup. And I know each pitcher is looking to throw strikes at me, so I'm just ready to attack the wiffle ball.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if the Eagles' 4 slot amounts to the same amount of talent as other teams' 4-hole hitters per se. You guys are, again, pretty deep, but it's exciting because you didn't have, again, the opportunity like you have now, and you're capitalizing on it. But when Dan said last year to us, like, Carson's going to have a bigger role next year, and I'm excited about it, I had some doubts because I hadn't seen you a whole lot, but it's been cool to see him put that trust in you and for you to contribute. Have you surprised yourself at all, or was it more like, it's about time I'm starting to hit in this league?
I feel like this best is still yet to come. I feel like I played good last series, but there's so much stuff I need to improve on, and I'll continue to improve on. And if you ask people that I play wiffle ball with a lot in Bay City, they saw it coming. Trey, I didn't meet Trey's expectations. He said I was going to go yard twice.
Oh.
But still thought I had a good series.
I'm sleeping on Carson big time. Well, how are you feeling right now? All-Star break, you're 5-4 after being 2-4. What's the word from manager Daniel Schultz going into the break? Was there some dialogue and some conversations after the series in your group chat maybe, or maybe over some wings at B-Dubs after the games? How's everyone feeling?
We're feeling great, still confident, ready to face the Preds. I believe that's who we have next in Slate 4. I'm happy with how we hit, especially since we haven't been hitting great, and JP and Pat are both great pitchers. I'm just happy with how we hit, and I feel like we'll be ready for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Oh, I should ask you, how was St. Louis?
Oh, it was fun. We didn't get a great result, but those special series are always fun, and I'm really happy Cal gives us the opportunity to do this.
Yeah, you've been to some cool spots, and this was like your first year really getting to play a bunch. Yeah. Any good stories you want to share from St. Louis? I know we talked to a couple of the D-backs guys, and they shared a few, but anything from you?
No, we just played a little poker in the hotel room. That was fun. Okay. That's about it.
Nice. I feel like Carson's you're usually the focal point of a story or two, I feel like, on these trips.
Maybe.
I remember there was one time, I think we were going to Atlanta for the World Series 2 years ago, and you had spent the night, you and your brother, at the MLW headquarters here before we went to the airport in the morning, and I think you walked in with like 2 pops and a bag of Takis, and you just made yourself comfortable. And it was late, and I was like,
"That's accurate."
I was like, "I'm going to bed, man. Sorry." But you and Landon were posted up in the living room, so that was fun times.
Yeah, pretty sure that's exactly how that went down.
Is Takis your number one?
I love Takis. Like those.
Give us your top 3. Give us your top 3. Top 3.
Top 3 Takis or just chips in general?
No, chips in general. Carson's snacks, not just chips, snacks.
The BBQ Pringles. That's in there.
The black bag?
No specific order.
Okay.
Yeah.
BBQ Pringles.
Flamin' Hot Funyuns.
Never had them.
And then probably Gardettos if you've ever had those.
Gardettos. Interesting. That's like a mix, isn't it, of like bread and...
Yeah. Great. They're good.
But no Takis in the top 3?
It's probably top 5. I'd put that in the top 5. It's just missing the cut.
I wonder what my top 3 are. Should I give like my unhealthy snack top 3 or like the actual snacks that I eat? Probably unhealthy ones.
I don't know. I just gave my unhealthy top 3.
Unhealthy top 3. I mean, nacho cheese Doritos, man. That's like my OG, just number one. It's always been there.
Staple.
It just never changed. It's always been good. The nacho cheese Dorito. What else do I like? I'm not a big Cheeto guy. I like a cheese puff or a cheese ball. Not a big crunchy Cheeto guy, so that won't be in there.
I agree. The puffs are better.
Yeah, so I do like a puff, but I don't know if I'd say it's... Oh, you know what I've been liking recently, Carson? And they are relatively healthy. You ever had popcorners?
Yeah,
I love the spicy nacho popcorners are fire. That's been like my go-to.
Spicy nacho?
Yeah, it's an orange bag. It's not a sponsorship, but popcorners, spicy nacho. Maybe it's called spicy queso. I don't know. It's an orange bag. Fantastic chip. So I'd say Doritos, popcorners. Number 3, I would go with... I'm trying to think of other like chip types. I do like Pringles sometimes, but that's more so because they're easy to eat in the car. You know what? This is I have a very random take. Yeah. This is not a popular snack at all.
Right.
But if I'm ever like driving alone, long road trip, driving alone, maybe to northern Michigan perhaps, and it's like late at night, I want a snack to sort of keep me awake and just keep me moving around and doing something, preoccupied. Nilla wafers. You ever had Nilla wafers before?
Oh, yeah. I've had Nilla wafers.
I don't know why. They're simple. They're a little sweet, crunchy. I just like them. I'd say that's a good top 3 for me. Popcorners, really any flavor, but the spicy nacho ones, then nacho cheese Doritos, and Nilla wafers. That's my Mount Rushmore. I guess Mount Rushmore is 4 if I had to do one more. Frosted animal crackers.
Takis are fighting for that last spot.
Frosted animal crackers.
Those are good.
So good. You say Dots pretzels, fire. So good. I love that.
Those are the best pretzels in my opinion.
I also like the I think they're called like pretzel crisp or pretzel thins. You know, the real thin, crispy pretzels. They come in like a white bag with stripes.
Like the thin.
They're super
blue,
thin, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, white and blue bag is the original.
I know what you're talking about.
There's a buffalo flavored one that's really good. That's
I had like the garlic parm of those. Those are good.
Yeah.
And then just the original. They're all right.
Yeah. We're getting sidetracked about food. I actually do have a good food story, Carson, if you wanna hear this. This is relevant to the pod also.
Okay.
If you want to stick around. So I'm famous, Carson, for overdoing it. Are you a pod listener? Have you heard about my stories of eating too much on the road trips?
No, I don't listen. I listen to like the ones Landon are on, and that's about it.
Okay, that's fair. No worries. Well, the loyal pod fans, they know that I've told stories about how I, as Kracht had coined it, how I overdo it on the trips with eating because I like try to eat too much at one time and I'm eating all day, like junk food, whatever. This wasn't even overdoing it in my opinion, but the people at the table around me disagreed. But in Staten Island, we had our series at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and we were there for the meet and greet until like 10:30ish, 11 o'clock. So we had lunch before that at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So we really hadn't eaten in almost 12 hours, like 10 hours where I didn't eat anything. I had a decent amount of water, but not any food between lunch and then about midnight. So we went to Applebee's. Sorry, Jimmy. Applebee's is better than Chili's. I'm going to say it.
It is.
Went to 100%. Applebee's. Thank you, Carson. Went to Applebee's, and I'm like, I am so hungry. And they had a lot of specials on like appetizers at that time. But like nothing, I'm looking like nothing that seemed like relatively healthy was going to be enough food. Like I was looking at the pasta dishes, those were like 1,000 calories. And I'm like, that's better, but it's still a lot of carbs that late before bed. So, you know what I did, Carson? I took myself on a little date. And I got the 2 for $25, which comes with an appetizer of your choice.
Oh, dog.
And then 2 entrees.
And 2 meals, right?
So I got the grilled chicken dish, which is like grilled chicken and then 2 sides of your choice. And then I got the grilled tilapia dish, which was fish and 2 sides of your choice. And I got them both with the standard mashed potatoes and broccoli. So I had a plate of fish, mashed potatoes and broccoli, chicken, mashed potatoes and broccoli, and then I ordered mozzarella sticks as the appetizer. I only ate 1 mozz stick and I gave the rest of the way because I knew I had a lot of food coming in the entrees. But I cleaned both plates. Took myself on a little date, 2 for $25. I think next time I want to step it up to the 2 for $35 with myself. Those are a bit bigger dishes. But
is this a goal of yours, Tom?
What's that?
Is this a goal of yours, Tom?
I mean, Carson, I like the idea of food challenges and eating a lot because I love food, but those words got me in big trouble last year with the Waffle House thing because I did so poorly. But that was because of the contents of the food. It say it again and again and again. See, the 2 entree thing, it was healthy, so I could do it no problem. But the waffles were so sugary that it just was impossible. So that was my food story. I'll tell you more about the Staten Island experience later on, but the fans will hear about it next week on the podcast. But Carson, appreciate you joining us. I'll let you get back to Gators Cobras. Enjoy that cinema. Get your popcorn. And good luck to you for the remainder of the year after the All-Star break.
You as well, Tom. Thanks for having me on. Always fun.
All right, Carson is jumping off. And I believe co-host Jack Aigner is joining us seriously in sync here. PB, you don't even need to cut anything. This is all happening in beautiful syncrasy here. As Jack is joining us, he's unmuting. He's turning his camera on. There he is. Jack Aigner, folks. I don't know if he's recording yet on his end, but I'm recording the Zoom, so we got his audio. You recording?
We are speeding. We're speeding everywhere.
Well, Jack, welcome to the show. Thanks for making it. Carson literally just jumped off.
Perfect. How did that interview go?
It went good. You know, it wasn't as easy to prolong the conversation with the amount of questions I had prepared without the banter of you and I back and forth, and of course, it helps to have 2 brains of ideas versus just one. So I'd say the first 25 minutes or so were pretty heavy wiffle talk. And then somehow Takis came up and we probably talked about food for 5 or 10 minutes. But it was great. You know, we didn't get a lot of Carson humor. Maybe that was my fault. I didn't ask the right questions, but he was very serious Carson today. He wasn't quite the funny Carson that the league members know him as.
Well, so I watched this video not knowing the outcome at all prior, but I did get a text from Tommy earlier in the week saying, I got Carson for the podcast. And when I got that text, I had 2 thoughts. One was Carson hit a home run, and the second one was we couldn't find anyone else to come on the podcast. So I'm glad that it was Carson hitting a home run, which was absolutely epic to see him get his first bomb there. I'm really happy for him. And happy for the Eagles too, kind of making a statement in that sweep right there. Yeah,
that was a statement win that neither you or I predicted to happen. We'll get to our point totals in a moment. But Jack, just one thing on Carson, because I asked him, I won't tell you his response, but what I told him, I watched the video back, and I said, I wouldn't say that you or your brother have the prettiest swings in the league, but it seems to work great for Landon. It's a very just hands to the ball, not a lot of lower half involved swing. But I said, Carson, yours was always the same way where I'm like, Carson's swing doesn't look very great. But I said, you know what? Not only did you do better, but I thought it looked a little better. So I asked him about that. But did you see any change in his swing too to think that maybe it looked different?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of funny because his swing just reminds me a lot of Landon's swing. Yeah. Like they kind of have this open stance, flat swing, like you said, just kind of hands to the ball. Not really a lot of lower body or upper body movement other than just bringing their hands to the ball. But it's a productive swing. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's a productive swing. And it seemed like Carson, even outside of his home run, was just seeing the ball really well.
That's what I said too.
I'm sure he's got whatever he's obviously got the same genetics as Landon. So whatever it is in their family that helps them to, see the ball over the plate well, he's got it. So I'm curious just what did he have a definitive answer as to like something that he changed?
Yeah, so I said he just looked quicker and simpler. Like he was really just directly to the ball. Like his home run swing actually looked pretty decent. And he said that he actually did make a change between the last two series he noticed that in MLW specifically, he was missing underneath the ball a lot. So he tried to stay a little taller and that seemed to work for him. But he also told me that like in the other leagues, like he's sort of an offensive powerhouse and he was kind of like getting frustrated with his results in MLW. So like Trey said before the series to Carson that like he was predicting a coming out party with 2 home runs. So he actually fell short of Trey's expectations, but apparently Carson rakes and I just never knew it.
I mean, I believe it. Like I said, it runs in the family, clearly. I think it was just a matter of time until Carson figured it out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hopping on, Jack. I told the folks that you were busy being a homeowner. How did everything end up with the bathroom?
It's a work in progress. Still a work in progress. Like most home projects, things don't really go perfect pretty much ever when you do something like that. So, there's hiccups along the way, but that's to be expected. Mm-hmm. I don't have a shower right now, but luckily I have a shower at my office, so I won't be like stinking it up all week, but it's going to be probably another couple days until I have a working shower in this house. So
yeah. Where does that leave the missus? Does she have an alternate option to stay clean in this heat?
The missus right now is at her parents' house with a working shower. So
okay. Excellent.
Yep. Praying for her that she, is able to make it through the night with
I was going to say, does that mean
our daughter?
Dad Aigner's off the hook tonight?
I'm like, yeah, it's like bachelor pad here, I got nothing. It's
quiet house, huh?
It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird feeling, but
yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, hopefully everything goes well tomorrow. And we got a new shower before we know it. Who knows? At the end of this, like I think we may end up with just like a totally new bathroom. Like it was originally going to be just like the bathtub and shower, and like there's already, now it's like I might as well just do the floor. I don't know. The floor is old, so we'll see.
Yeah. Has the AC held up through this heat wave?
Dude, so I kind of felt bad. I kind of felt bad because they were, they're obviously like the guys working on the bathroom are. Let me say that, by the way, too. I did not do anything. I'm not doing this by myself. I am paying someone to do this operation. This was the classic how long is the YouTube video test, and it was long, and so I passed and I paid for it. But they were, they were going in and out of the house like frequently.
Oh,
and
man.
I mean, you can't really run the air when it's like, 80 degrees out and the door is pretty much open the whole time because the air is just like fighting for nothing.
Not paying to heat the whole neighborhood.
So yeah, so like I didn't really have the air on during the day, so they were just like dying. Like I could tell they were just dying. I felt bad for them. It was a hot day, very humid, probably like 100% humidity. So it got a little muggy in here, but they were here for a long time. I was late because they were still here, trying to get some certain stuff done before the end of the day. So I did, like, I would say for the last, like, I don't know, 3 hours or so they were working. I shut the door because they weren't going in and out as much, and I was cranking the AC for them. So
I'm sure they appreciated that big time.
Yeah, it was working.
Good. Last thing, Mustache thoughts. It's pretty bad.
I mean, we've covered this before on the podcast. I've always been a fan.
I've always been in the fan camp.
I'm never gonna tell you to shave that thing. So if you're looking for, me to lean one way or the other, it's definitely on team Stash for TC3.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if I have told the reasoning behind the stash growth. I think maybe I did. I don't know. My girlfriend, Jack, saw a picture of the stash from the podcast way back when, last year, and somehow claimed to like it. So that's why I started to grow it again. And I was
interesting.
I was totally against it, but I said, like, if I'm ever going to do it, this is the time, because I had a work outing last week, and then this week has the 4th of July in the mix, so I won't be too much in front of my customers at work, and I just don't love how it looks personally. But so at the work trip last week, it was quite a polarizing thing. It had a lot of opinions about the mustache, both some very good, some very bad, very polarizing. It was talked about, and then I was actually with my girlfriend's family yesterday, and her little sister was there, and I was like, "How do you feel about the mustache?" And she's like, and I just started laughing because I could tell she didn't like it, and I was like, "I know, I don't like it either. Tell your sister." And she was like, "Oh, I never knew she was a mustache girl." And then my girlfriend was justifying it. But I think it'll be gone by next Monday. After the 4th, I'm going to shave it. But we're letting her ride for now. So
I think it's great. Something is good. If it's that polarizing, it's good. Because people just think it's ridiculous. Other people love it. Mm-hmm. I also think subconsciously you do like how it looks.
No,
you keep bringing
Jack,
it back.
I do not.
You keep looking for ways to bring it back. So subconsciously, I know that you like it.
Well,
I think the girlfriend approving though, that's really the only thing you need to, seal the win there for the mustache thing.
True. I might lose you, Jack. We'll jump on the second Zoom here, but I'll continue to talk to the fans. The only thing I'll say about me, like, growing it is I do get curious, like, I wonder if it'll grow in thicker than the previous time. The only way to know that answer is if you let it ride. So that's really the only thing that affects me, is the general curiosity of it. But overall, I'm not a fan. I think it looks a little bit unprofessional and just, I don't want to say childish, but I don't love it. So in the comments, feel free to state your opinion on the stash. Maybe I'll read them. It will not hurt my feelings if you don't like it, because I personally am not a huge fan. So whether you love it or you hate it, let me know down below. And maybe that'll influence my decision this weekend when it comes time to shave or not shave after the 4th. So looking forward to seeing that feedback. All right, enough mustache talk. Back to the series. Jack, I did want to hear your thoughts on it overall. I really didn't even share my thoughts too much, but you go ahead. You joined us. Appreciate you hopping on. Sound off. What were your thoughts on the Wildcats getting swept away by the Eagles?
Yeah, I think a few things. One, happy to see Dallas bounce back and have a really Dallas Allen-like performance in this series. I said it on the last podcast. I picked the Wildcats, but this felt like a back against the wall series for the Eagles. And you could just see it in all of them that this one meant a little bit more. Like it meant more to Dan, obviously, playing against Kyle, like the rivalry there, just the brotherly rivalry. But as a team, you felt like this one, they really needed to like find themselves here. And I think they did that. And I think a huge story in this is the Game 3 win for Evan Trackman. Having a somewhat shaky start to, I would say, his career on the mound, like not really knowing what you're going to get for him. I think he had a really solid performance in a game that you're kind of watching it going, okay, great for the Eagles. They bounce back, series win. Here's one for the Wildcats to get their one in the series, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it was a hard-fought series, gets a rookie pitcher, and the guy just comes out and just pitches the lights out. I mean, it was fantastic against a really good lineup. So I think that's a huge, huge story for the Eagles and, just for like this rookie class, because I don't think Evan Trackman was, one of the rookies really that, at least in the beginning, we were talking about maybe as high as some of the other guys. But yeah, like first sweep of the year, I think is a very notable statistic that it's taken this long to get one. And then to have it be the Eagles, who some people probably wrote off, against the Wildcats, who some people probably had them as number one in their power rankings. I'm sure there were managers that had them at number one,
Me included.
There you go. So, I mean, it's just another reminder of anything can happen in this league on any given day, and it was cool. I was happy for the Eagles guys to bounce back and just perform the way that they did.
Yeah, I definitely did not see the Trackman performance coming at all. I mean, I didn't see this coming at all as a whole. I mean, I predicted 2-1 Cats. I was higher on the Wildcats than anybody else, and they have all the talent in the world. I didn't know they weren't going to have Hornberger. That was definitely a big blow, I think. But just the Eagles' offense continues to amaze me. Dallas, of course, looked like himself, and then Trackman goes out and blanks them. I mean, it really couldn't have been a better day for the Eagles. And again, even the offensive production from Carson, someone who, I think I should have been putting a little more respect on his name previously, just because, again, he does make contact. Apparently he hits good in other leagues too. So I think I was sleeping on Carson's abilities a little bit. And I mean, just total 180 for me mentally in terms of who's who in this league. And like you said, I think it's going to continue to happen all season long because of how much parity there is. But, before I was like, the Wildcats are going to be untouchable. And now I'm thinking, oh man, like, does this team have the pitching staff to win games? I'm not so certain anymore. So, and the Eagles, on the other hand, I'm like, their offense all of a sudden to me is one of the best in the league again, with Carson contributing and Landon playing so good, and Dan getting his swings in as well. Dallas pitching like his Cy Young self, postseason self from last year. So it's like, I think I had the Eagles around 6 last time. I had the Cats at 1. I think you're going to see a drastic change for me in those two teams. And that's just what makes this so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think you kind of know what you're going to get over the course of the season from the Eagles offense. They might have some highs and lows, but in the aggregate, you're going to get a team that really makes pitchers work for it. And I think that, it's possible the Wildcats pitchers felt that a little bit. Pat has had success so far this year on, we've talked about it a bunch, but pretty much learning how to like throw a ball. And in a lot of these series, he's getting guys to chase on pitches that they really don't have a chance at hitting. Mm-hmm. And I think it might have just been a case of he ran into the most disciplined lineup in the league. Some of that stuff maybe wasn't working. I wasn't there. It's hard for me to know kind of what was happening like early in the count. But I just think that he ran into, a really hungry, focused Eagles team. I'm not really worried about the pitching depth on the Wildcats. Again, Hornberger wasn't there. I think he'll still be an option for them. Kyle obviously really has a lot of confidence in Jackson, like throwing him twice. So I'm not really worried about the Wildcats. Like it's weird because like after a sweep, it feels like you should sound the alarms. Like we just lost 3 games in a row, but it's not like they're out of like the playoff race or anything. Like they're very much still in it. And again, they have all the pieces. Like if this was kind of like their one series that was like, hey, we didn't really have our best stuff this series. I feel like it's good that they got that out of the way now. Like I'm not really, if I was a Wildcats fan, I wouldn't be worried right now because we still have the guys. We still have the guys to do it. It just I just think it wasn't their day.
Yeah. I think again the young energy of Hornberger is a spark plug, and I think it hurt that he wasn't there. And that's what happens sometimes. It's tough for, just like tonight, you had something popped up for the podcast, let alone having to travel out of state for a series at times. So the attendance rate, honestly, for some of these out-of-state players has been incredible. So no fault to Sean at all for having a conflict and not being able to make it. But we hope to see more of him this season. I think he's a very young, promising prospect. And I'm not saying that with him they would have won the series, but I do think it just changes the vibe a little bit when you unfortunately don't have your number one pick there to rally the squad and give him your best shot against a great team that you're a storied rival against. So bit of a bummer, but the reality of the league and of life. So I am number one, like the Eagles, they're back. They were never gone, but in my head I had written them off too soon, as we always do. Wildcats, I don't think it's, panic button time yet, but I just have a lot of high expectations for this squad, and I think they have high expectations for themselves. So I hope for them and for their fan base, those results start to show here after, back-to-back number one draft picks and a young stud in Nick. So there's just a lot of talent there, and you'd think that this team could produce a little bit more.
Yeah, in some ways I feel like that actually might be one of the things that is limiting the Wildcats, just like that pressure. Because I do feel like, there's pressure just because it's like, oh, well, it's Kyle Schultz. Like he is the league. Like he started the league. Like, he's been the most consistent batter throughout the history of MLW. Like he's on their team. Yeah, they've had 2 number 1 picks. Like it's like they haven't won in a while. You know what I mean? They haven't been back to the World Series in a few years now. So it's like I think that pressure is definitely there. Like there's teams that pressure just doesn't exist at all. Like not that there's no expectations, but that sort of like that unwritten pressure just isn't really there. For a team like the Magic. I mean, when we made that run in 2023 to win the World Series, it was like nobody thought we were going to win the World Series. I mean, yeah, we had some good additions to the team, but the way in which we won, I don't think really many people saw coming, and I think that benefited us, right? Like it wasn't like we had that pressure, and then 24 comes around, and it's like, okay, well now you're defending the World Series, so you do have some pressure, and things tightened up a little bit, right? We didn't have the bats to accompany the pitching, and that is a real thing. I think that is a very real thing. Even though this is, a fun league, it is very competitive, and that pressure is very real.
No, I agree. That's well said. And I think Jack, sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking about when you said they hadn't been to the World Series in a while, and it occurred to me that the Mallards are in last place in that category by a couple of years, I think. We haven't been since 2018. And I think
mind you, when I say a while for the Wildcats,
I know, but
again, they're such a historic dynasty that it's like, okay, if they don't win it once every 4 years, you're like, what's going on with this franchise?
Yeah, I know.
Based on what, yeah.
But I just was thinking about it. It was 2018 for us, and then we have not won a postseason series since then, I don't think. I think the next closest is the Gators in 2020. Because they haven't been back since then, but the Cobras were in 21. AL teams, Cobras were in 22. Wildcats were 21. Preds were last year. And again, Magic were in 23. On the NL, the Eagles were there last year and won. D-backs were there in 2021 and 2022. And the Gators were there in 2020. So, yeah, we're last place by 2 years. Mallard's got to get back somehow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. It's also crazy just saying all those years out loud about how long we've been doing this.
Yeah, that did make me feel really old.
Makes you think, well, we are a little old. We're getting older. We're not old. We're getting older. We're getting older. That's all. Any other comments, Jack? Again, I don't have much else to say. Overall, it really did a 180 on my brain. And this league just keeps me guessing.
Yeah, one comment I would make is to shout out Ryan Kracht. I think basically, I don't know, 90% of the comments
for sure.
were just about how good of a job Ryan did. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to do, to just come in there and make those calls. I just thought he did a really good job. So hats off to Ryan. I enjoyed listening to him. It seems like a lot of the fans did too. So good job, dude.
Yeah, Ryan did great. There was a ton of comments about that. I'm going to transition that, Jack, into our comment of the week. I'm noticing here in our little...
yeah, I got one, actually.
I have one, too. You want to share one? I had one, but it was very related to commenting, and I had a discussion surrounding it. But go ahead, Jack. Okay. You want to fire one away?
Well, we might have the same one.
We might. Go ahead.
The comment of the week, that I picked was from Miles, and it said Ryan asked Landon, quote, "What was different today?" As if Landon doesn't go off almost every series. I thought that was funny because
True.
it's like the stereotypical, question like in the post game interview, like what was different today than other days, but it's like Landon does kind of just like show up every single day. So it's just like, what do you even ask him at that point? What'd you have for breakfast? Maybe that's what I would have asked him.
Yeah, Landon has established himself as a top 5 offensive presence in this league. In my opinion, he just puts the ball in place so often. What I had, Jack, was I found it in my screenshots. Comes from Zane, and he said, "I know this doesn't happen much, but I do enjoy the different variety of broadcasters." So, again, shout out to Ryan. There was a lot of love in the comments. Did a great job stepping in, taking charge, taking the reins behind the camera. And for a fun fact for the folks at home, too, like Ryan is also, it's not a big part of it, but it is a part of it. Whoever's commentating is like right behind that camera you're seeing all the game footage in. So they're also sort of, manning that camera and recording the footage and, turning that from side to side if a ball goes out of play or whatnot. So it's a double responsibility. Looks like Ryan handled it like a pro. And yeah, the variety of broadcasters thing is cool. I wanted to start a discussion around it. Jack, first of all, we got Kyle, we got Norp, we got Ryan now firing. Are there any other voices in MLW that you think might be exciting behind the mic? I'll start and say I think actually you'd be electric, Jack, but the lack of baseball hard knowledge concerns me a little bit. I think maybe you'd be a better color guy. Actually, no, maybe you would be a great main broadcaster, play-by-play, but you'd need a solid color guy next to you to really hone in the baseball knowledge.
That you literally hit that on the head. I was going to say I would love to try it, but I feel like I would just fall into saying the same 4 things over and over again because I just don't really know a lot of the catchphrases, the catchphrases in baseball. So yeah, I don't know if it would be me being the comic relief color guy or the lead with a color guy that actually knows what he's talking about.
So I think that's the better case. I think you need the color guy with the strong knowledge, and then you can be electric on a call. You just need someone to support you with some hard facts in between plays.
Yeah, I do think I I do think I would have some good calls. I could see in a lot of the strikeouts, Ryan's banana ball, looked like a 12-6. He kind of explains the pitch. I feel like in that one, I would just be nasty pitch. I don't even know what that was.
Exactly. That's why I said I have some concerns.
Just something like that. It would definitely be very different. But I think it would be cool to it's really hard. I think you have to have some experience talking in front of people live. Not that it's all fully live, you can edit some stuff, but you're making most of the calls live, for it to be, for it to be original and for it to flow. Mm-hmm. I do think it would be cool to have a guy Evan Porter, just one of the younger guys in the league.
Interesting.
Just because I think, we have a lot of younger fans watching, and I don't know if they would maybe relate to it more if it was, a younger sounding voice, right? I just think I think it would be a cool opportunity too for guys to kind of get to show their creativity and their actual baseball knowledge or wiffle ball knowledge on the call.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea. I have a name to throw out there. It would require, I think, some fine tuning of the brain, but give me Rudy Ramirez behind the camera, Jack. The guy has so much energy. It would be electric, and he has the baseball knowledge. He played at a professional level. But I would need to figure out how we could program Rudy's brain to hone it in a little bit and be focused and mature enough to get through it. But I think personality-wise, he'd be great because I think I talked about on this podcast before years ago when I would call a game. I would really try to genuinely emotionally invest myself in the series, which wasn't always too hard because I knew a lot of the players and stuff like that. But even if it was a series with a 9-3 team and a 2-7 team, that those don't add up, a 2-10 team, I would try to somehow emotionally invest myself into the series to make those calls sound that much more genuine. And I think Rudy's a guy where like it wouldn't be hard for him to get his energy level to a place that it needed to be exciting for listeners to listen to, no matter the circumstances. So I think he's got the tools, but we need to fine tune the mind a little bit and really have him focus somehow.
Yeah, he definitely has the tools. It's does he have the stamina to make it through like a 2.5 hour series? Like I feel like he'd be fantastic for like an inning. And then that would be the test is if he could last the whole time. I think another guy that would be so good would be Nick Saylor. I mean, just every time we've had him on the podcast, I feel like he's said some things that just like stick with you that are so funny. And like you just like enjoy listening to him talk. And I feel like him on the call, does he play baseball? I don't know if he has a baseball background. He seems like he does.
He knows ball.
Yeah, he knows ball for sure. So I feel like he'd be a guy that like, he's dropping like the old some of the old catchphrase
like Ernie Harwell
type. Yeah, like some of that type stuff that you might not always get anymore, like even watching MLB and stuff like that. So I think he would be a good option.
Love that. One interesting thought that I had. This is not happening. This probably will never happen, but it was an idea that I had in my brain a couple years ago, and I talked to Kyle about it, and we laughed about it. But I thought it'd be funny where, I don't know why I'm using the word funny. It wouldn't really be funny. It was just an idea. If each team in MLW had like an assigned home commentator. So like every time the Wildcats were home in a series, like I would call the game. Or every time the Eagles were home in a series, Ryan Kracht would call the game. So like every team had a home field announcer, if that makes sense, a familiar voice. So there'd be 8 different voices of MLW, one for each home teams. Like in the playoffs, whoever was the home team in like an ALCS, for example, would be the one calling the series. So I thought that would be cool.
I would love, if we ever do that, Kyle, I want to put in my formal
This is not happening, by the way. This is not happening.
It could, though. It's a great idea. It could happen. I'd like to put in my formal request to be the home voice of the Pacific Predators. I would love to call their
that would
games.
be good because you do all know all those guys.
That would be pretty good.
Well.
That would be good.
I would probably say
content.
I'd put in my request to do probably the Wildcats because I have called a lot of their games over the years already, so I kind of know the mojo of that squad. I think I'd be an easy transition in, but just a fun thought. I also love the idea of bringing in a third party at some point, like Tigers home announcer Jason Benetti, one of the more beloved announcers in baseball right now. It'd be awesome to have him, call a game in MLW. That'd be so cool.
I did not realize he is calling the Tigers now. Who did he call forever? Like the Reds?
He did the White Sox for a little while, I believe.
The White Sox, okay.
He also does some college football, Jack, as well. So you might see him around. Like he called the Michigan State football game this year, believe it or not. So,
how long has he been with the Tigers? I didn't even know that.
This is his third season. No, second season only. Second season. And it's been awesome. He makes watching baseball a lot of fun. So we're lucky to have him here in Detroit. But broadcasting, what an important part of the game that is so overlooked until you got someone you don't like, and then it's the absolute worst.
Yeah. That would be my only fear is like really bombing, and then it's like, okay, well this video is just gonna suck now because I was like on the mic. I've
bombed some calls, Jack. I mean, it does happen. Even pros bomb calls at times. It's never fun. I mean, I'll point a finger at something that is terrible that I actually didn't notice until like 2 weeks after the video was out, and I had watched it so many times because I thought I did a fantastic job. And then I heard this, and it like ruined the clip forever for me. But the first time the D-backs won the World Series, Jack, they won on a walk-off, Michael Shima. And for some reason, again, just this is all happening live, and I think I do a pretty good, like I don't usually misspeak often, maybe I was nervous in the moment because it was a big moment. But I said like Norp is rounding second and coming home instead of rounding third, which he did come from second base, and like it wasn't like the worst thing to say. But again, I was like so happy with the passion and the tone of my voice and like the timing of the dialogue that I seriously didn't notice that mistake for like a week after that upload. And I had watched that clip like 30 times. Then I heard it and I was like, no way, I screwed that up. And I was so disappointed in myself after that. So go back and watch that clip and you'll catch it and you'll never unhear it. I'm not afraid to say it. But I felt like I squandered, again, it's still electric sounding, but I was disappointed. I was like, dang, how did I slip up there? That's terrible. But again, with the speed of wiffle ball and the fact that he came from second, it kind of sounds like I said, like coming around from second, like it's kind of mumbly. It's happening so fast, So
yeah.
But I was like so crushed and disappointed when I noticed that, and I didn't know how I didn't notice it earlier, or even in the moment. I've misspoke before, like in the moment, and I catch it immediately, and I'm like, darn it, that's not what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it. I didn't deliver that how I should have. But in that, like I knew I was happy after the game. I thought I did really good. I watched the video back. I was so happy with how it sounded, and then watched it over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I screwed up. I said the wrong thing. How did I not notice that? I bet you Kyle noticed that like on first listen and was probably upset, but he left it in as is. We didn't like edit in fake dialogue or anything. So he didn't point it out to me. But anyways, fun story there. I don't know if I've ever,
I think you've had some great calls. I love listening to you on the call. So I definitely don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever shared that on this podcast before, but glad I did. Not afraid to point out a mistake. It does happen. Yeah, comment of the week. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Moving along here, Jack, no change on the scoreboard. We both had 2-1 Wildcats in the hot dog challenge, so both of us incorrect. Score remains 18-15. Looking ahead, I believe this Friday's upload is the Staten Island series, Preds versus Mallards. We both have 2-1 Mallards in that one. However, you used a super pick, so some additional bonus points on the line for you. And the tiebreaker is I have over 13.5 hits. You have under. So that could come into play if the series does wind up being 2-1 Mallards. Looking ahead, Jack, this week, holiday week, 4th of July, I'm excited. I don't know if you have any plans with your new family or not, but I'll be headed to northern Michigan, and those of you who listened last year probably remember that we had a little bit of a hot dog challenge going on internal to MLW. We created a group chat to see how many hot dogs we would eat over the course of the 4th of July weekend. So that group chat still does exist, the hog logs, and I still plan to fire off a few photos of me eating hot dogs this weekend. I don't know if I'll keep a diligent tally like I did last year, but I would love to get some traction in that group chat again. It was a lot of fun.
This could be a good time to maybe practice for the nine dog 9 inning challenge, just because you won't really get judged. This is like the one weekend you won't get judged for eating a ton of hot dogs in a short period of time. So
Correct.
Could be good. Could be a good time to practice.
Yeah, I was just going over the weekend menu with my mother as we were planning, and I think we're opting to go brats instead of dogs. Definitely still counts as a log. That's still a loggable score, but a lot heavier. You can't eat too many brats. That's a heavy choice of. There's more girth to a bratwurst than there is a true hot dog, So, but I am a brat guy. I love a hot dog. But a good brat, Jack. Now we're talking.
Yeah, no, big. I'm a big fan of a quality brat. You definitely start. I was gonna say just the difference between the brat and the hot dog is you're definitely gonna, if you're just shoveling brats in your mouth or like hot dogs, you're gonna get the meat sweats way quicker with brats. Way quicker. That's just a fact.
Let me ask you this, Jack. You pull up to the cookout, 4th of July, beautiful sunny day, and the grill master, the local dad of the scene, he's got burgers, he's got brats, he's got dogs, maybe he even has grilled chicken. What are you grabbing on your paper plate? What are you loading up?
Do I have to only pick one?
No, but within reason. You can't eat everything. Within reason, what would you go with?
I would go brat and a burger for sure.
Okay. I think in a perfect world, I would too, but depending on the sides, it might not be feasible, or if it is, I'm going to be hurting afterwards. But
yeah, no, I'm going to go sides too. I'm going to be hurting.
Yeah. Okay, I think if I was dealt those, I might just go brat. I don't know why, but it's just I love a brat on the 4th. It's good stuff. Sides, I'd probably skip the baked beans, skip the watermelon. I'd go mac and cheese if available.
Yep.
And then maybe like a
some
pasta
potato
salad. A potato salad, perfect.
Yep.
Same type of deal. That's probably what I'd go with is a mac and a 2 carbs. Put it that way. Probably not chips or fruit. But I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm going up heading north for the weekend. This will be your daughter's first 4th of July. Jack, do you have any plans per se?
Nope. I think my plans are probably revolving around this bathroom being finished. So depending on how that project goes, I'll probably have some projects on my own, which I can update you guys on as we battle through it.
Okay. Well, I guess I will enjoy this phase of my life while I can, because before you know it, I'll be the one fixing my bathroom on the 4th of July. But you know, I don't think you're too upset about it. Something tells me you.
I might have to call Dustin.
You should call Dustin if you got to install the can. Give him a call. I wonder what his next series is. Maybe the schedules will align.
We got a new toilet today. New toilet.
Okay. Brand new bowl.
Brand new bowl. Sparkling clean.
Okay.
Literally never been cleaner.
Never been cleaner.
Never will be as clean.
Yeah. Don't invite me over anytime soon. Especially after this weekend. All those bratwursts are going to be sitting heavy. So, but enjoy it with your families, guys, if you can. Even though Jack will be cleaning a bathroom, or not cleaning, but renovating a bathroom, he will still have his family by his side. So if you can, sneak away from work for a day or two. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy a lake if you're nearby a lake like us Michiganders. Enjoy some hot dogs, some burgers, whatever it may be. And watch Joey Chestnut crush some dogs. Jack, you got to set an alarm, take a break from the bathroom, and watch Joey Chestnut defend his throne.
Isn't he like banned?
No, he's back. It's big news. He's back.
Oh, he's
so
back.
Last year he had been partnered with like an alternative meat company, like an Impossible meat company per se, like a vegan option. So I think that caused him to opt out of the hot dog eating contest. From what I heard on a podcast, I think he is still partnered with that company, and either they've come to an agreement to allow him to do this, or he's breaking contract, he's taking a fine. I don't know, but he's back. He's going back for his throne. I'm excited. I probably won't see it live, but I'll definitely run it back in the evening to watch the greatest athlete in the world do what he does best. So I'm excited for that.
So verbal meme. Just the handshake. And then it's Eagles on one side, Joey Chestnut on the other, and then the handshake is being back.
Okay, very fair, very fair. MLW meme account, put it up there. Or even you could say Bangarang, because you hit a home run last series, Jack. Bangarang, Joey Chestnut.
That's true.
Back. You could also say Tommy Coughlin, Joey Chestnut, handshake, housing hot dogs, because that's what I'll be doing this weekend.
Mustache, Chestnut, back.
Does he have a mustache? Is he a mustache guy?
You're a mustache guy.
My
Your
mustache
is back.
Okay, true.
Joey Chestnut is back, shaking hands on
mustache.
Being back.
Okay, following the verbal meme. Sorry, I didn't quite track the first time I heard it. So yeah, long story short, enjoy the weekend, guys. We should have an exciting series on Friday. I believe it is the Staten Island series being uploaded between the Preds and the Mallards. Jack, I'm here to defend our glory. You did your part. Now it's my turn, so we'll see what I can do. I'll tell you guys all here first. I will be starting myself game 1. I will not be on the bench. Put myself in the lineup, and I'm hoping to follow suit like Jack and homer my first AB. So we'll see what happens. But tune in on Friday,
Attaboy.
4 o'clock. Thank you all for listening, as always, and we'll check in with you next week.
Pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up.